Houston is at this gig with that guy who was doing this song all over Jimmy Dore and pretty much all over America. He's kind of like some sort of kind of hillbilly stroke Tennessee sort of guy. It's like it's about the working class, isn't it? But just watch when I press play now, and just watch everyone in the audience just stood there with their phones. It's almost like they're holding them like some kind of pass. You see, Houston's just said like, oh, like I've got an onstage pass, but just look at how they're holding their phones, the posture and the pose. They're almost holding them up like digital ID cards, like some kind of It's like a salute. They're kind of holding them as some kind of like I've got it's like on Golden Child, I want the knife, please. It's like I've got the mobile phone. He's kind of holding them up. It's like a salute. I mean, what does it? It's like you know what it's like. It's like it's almost like I consent to. I am filming everything and I am being filmed, and I consent to this tablet, this mobile phone, this smart device. It's almost like, I consent to this digital ID and everything that it is doing. I'm sat by myself now, like staring into the phone, holding it in my hand. I'm not with people. There's something wrong with this. I mean, I'm going to press play now anyway. Just look at them all. They just kind of stood there and they've kind of got their phones up at the side of them and their hands in this, like, it's almost like Spock when he does that thing with his, like, two fingers apart. It's kind of like, Jimmy Dore did a program on this when, all at this, fireworks at New Year's Eve, whatever, just all with the phones up. Everyone's holding it when they're walking around at the demonstrations now and everything. It's like some weird cult. It's like, it's like, I'm walking here. It's like, I'm filming here. But that's when they're outside walking around. But it's like, why do you need it? And it's not like, notice, right? They're not hugging it, are they? One thing about this is, like, at least when you used to have a Care Bear, like when you're a little kid and you walk around with a teddy bear, at least you, like, you hold its hand and you hug it, or, you put it on your back, like your backpack. These things, you just kind of, like, hold it out in front of you you're, like, holding it out in front of you. It's... you'd have thought you might as well have them like the police have got, body cams, like by now you just, tap it, and like speak into it. But, why do you need to be looking at the screen when you're looking at everything? I need to see where I'm filming, well, once you've got the Ray-Bans on, you won't need to, because wherever you look, and then might as well have the third eye. I'm quite surprised that Zuckerberg is why do they need to be Ray-Bans, Why isn't he just done the third eye, You'd have thought, people who don't need glasses, have got perfectly normal, okay vision. You'd have thought Zuckerberg, what's he going to do? Like, is he going to have, like, like those doctor things they used to have on in the middle of the forehead, or like a stick-on or glue-on third eye? Actually, you might as well just have the actual mobile phone lens, like, stuck between your eyes, That's what he's going for. I don't know why we have to go that way. I really hope these things end up in landfill. And the thing is that actually, I was going to do a talk on that. You know, the quicker through history, we've had these phases of, you know, technology, machines, and so forth, and then everything does end up, whatever they invent, it always ends up getting scrapped. You know, pretty much every single thing that has been invented has been scrapped and replaced. Like, you know, typewriter, you know, machine typewriter. I know they've still got a keyboard, but only just, you know, with touchscreen, there's hardly even a proper keyboard left on many complete computers and devices now. I'm wondering if, you know, the whole, I mean, what happens when you get rid of, you know, records? You've still got people making music and playing songs. Like, you know, the record ends up in the bin and the CD ends up in the bin, and, you know, the MP3s, you know, but the song's still there and this guy's still playing on stage. I hope that they were just, you know, it's almost kind of like, you know, some things we end up still having them, but hardly anyone's got them. If you think of like vinyl records, right? Everyone had vinyl records, right? And then everyone had them and everyone was listening to them. And then now we kind of like sort of scrap them, except just for a few enthusiasts, you know, a few DJs and people who like mixing and stuff like that. And then like a small proportion of collectors who like vinyl, but not everyone. There's, you know, a group of people, a smallish group of people who still get records. So I hope, I'm starting to hope and think that the mobile phones and even all the Ray-Bans and the metaverse and everything, I'm hoping that it ends up sort of like vinyl records, that, you know, maybe everyone does do it, but the thing is that the speed at which these things are coming out is getting quicker. We're getting more and more and more technology, but a faster and faster rate, which also means that we are actually ditching things quicker. And I don't think they can stop that, because they can't stop themselves coming out with more and more tech. They can't stop themselves from coming out with more and more technology. They you know, they've got the Technology and Innovation Department of the government. Sunak can't stop. He has to go faster, quicker. But the rate at which we're going quicker and quicker is that the things are being invented but then ditched quicker. And I've kind of got a feeling that people will, I think they'll probably do the metaverse and everyone will go, wow. But then I've got a feeling that they'll just kind of put it down, and then there'll be something else, but not Bluetooth fitted into your brain or anything like that. Just the fact that maybe they realise that, what's the point, in going in a pretend world, and they just put it down, and then you just might have, the odd, metaverse geek, like the odd vinyl collector. But the thing is that if you think of like, like something's coming towards you, and then it gets closer and closer and closer, and then you get to it, and then it goes away and passes. I'm kind of thinking that maybe, we've been here for millions of years and hundreds of thousands of years, and then we started getting, they've had chariots for a long time, and, windmills and things like that. But then when you get into more technology, the technology peak's gone up and up and up and up. I'm kind of wondering if, like, you could see, from coming into the Industrial Revolution and the printing press and then getting to this part now, that maybe the whole tech thing is actually just a chunk of time period of tech from start to finish, and it may actually itself pass and go away and end up on the junk pile, but not completely and totally, just to the point where there are still people doing it, but it's not like, you know, an absolute obsession and everywhere, and actually becomes the new replacement for mankind. You know, like, you know, Tron or whatever, you know, it could end up that we just ditch all the digital advertising boards, because why do you need to advertise things when you don't need them? What's the point, you know, and the distractions? And maybe that, you know, because ideally you want people working on new technologies, but really only things that we want and need that are useful, and not the gross excess stuff that we didn't really want. And, you know, it would be pretty cool to, you know, we need to see satellites and go into space, but it shouldn't be, they shouldn't have the whole planet, you know, under some sort of slave drone thing to do it, and the robots shouldn't be bossing us around, you know, value humanity. Once we get a grip of this industrial military complex and that, and then the scientists can just, you know, like vinyl record collectors, carry on making progress if they want, but, you know, it's not pushed on us or forced on us, and, you know, we kind of like, you know, it's there if you want it, but, you know, at the end of the day, what is the music when you put the music on? It's just, you know, something that, you know, you can just sing or play a song. It's only like, the tech was there just because you don't need the tech. You know, the humans can do it without the tech. The tech was just a tool. That could happen, and we could just end up with this kind of utopia where it's all about humanity and, you know, life, and, you know, while some people are working on tech stuff, but, you know, no pressure. But at the moment, all this, you know, Rishi Sunak with his, you know, oh, the economy, and now I pulled the recession back and this and that. No, you've done nothing. You're juggling numbers. It means nothing, you know. It's a model that is, it's like Sunak's economy is a handicap. It is a Zimmer frame for people who can't share. A Zimmer frame for people who are obsessed with tally money. Mr. Tallyman, tally a banana, you know. Mr. Tallyman needs to count the numbers, you know. Who cares, you know? You owe me 3, I owe you 4. There's a knock on the door, do. You know, so what? You know, this is it. You know, Sunak, it's a handicap. It's a disability, because the whole framework that he bases life on is that, you know, I've got 152 million bottles sat on a wall. Rishi Sunak's wife knocked one off, and then she's only got 562 million billion trillion bottles balanced on a wall. Here comes Rishi walking past the wall, and he did a sneeze and one fell off, and there were 569,662 bottles sat on Rishi's wall. You know, that's a disability. It's actually a disability. It's a handicap, and it's a handicap where you're not competent and capable of, you know, saying, you know, I'm off to the shop. Anyone want anything? You know, oh, do you all lend me £5? Who needs money? You know, this is the thing. But who needs a digital microchip ID card scanned in their brain to see if you're allowed to even go out of the house or not? You know, or we'll all be threatened with, the Google disease or whatever it is. Someone is threatening us with it. There are powers at work that are threatening us and causing incidents. And the thing is, Sunak, what the government don't want to do is cause panic, and they don't want people to go into this dark thinking mode. Like the dark mode, you know, like when, you know, look at, you know, seeing the world as all as good. That's the thing with the government. They want to see the world all as good and don't want to see like the dark side of the moon, the bad, and not just the bad on the well, they do on the streets. The strange thing with government and, you know, Calendar News and ITV is that they're quite happy to shine the torch on all the bad things happening on the streets, you know, stabbings, car crash, knife crime. But when you get into the intellectual, but it's odd because they love their thrillers. They love their Columbos. They love their Murder, She Wrote. They love them Death in Paradise. They love these TV shows. But it's funny that they like those shows, Columbo, Sherlock Holmes. It's amazing that, those presenters and those TV programs will watch the show, but when it comes to real life, that type of thing and thinking, who done it, who planned it, who set it up, and how are they evading detection all this time? Like, where's Madeleine McCann? We're allowed to pursue we're allowed to ask where's Madeleine McCann, but we're not allowed to say, well, who set it up? It is set up. This is it. It was an MOT for the police. This is it. They're not only do it with the street crime. I don't know if it's simpletonness or not. I don't know if it's, but they just won't go to that. They just won't go over to that. They've got to hold the status quo. Within the stay in the light. But as soon as it's movies or go to the cinema or Universal Studios, then they're lapping it up. They got the tongue hanging out. They're licking the screen. They're all over it, like horror films. Thrillers. Whatever, psychology. But in real life, it's like you just can't say that. I don't know why. But they want to, someone's been stabbed, they've got to get their photograph on there, they got all the blood, and there's a crash on the motorway, all this, But when they just can't, they just won't. And do you know why I think that is? Because then you would start to, once you see these people who are doing it and who are responsible for it, if you're not looking for them, you won't find them. And if you don't believe they exist, then they're going to carry on getting away with it. So when it's kind of like an invisible line that you just, no one's, I don't know why they won't cross that line on TV. Why don't they just, it's kind of like, just let it go, maybe someone's planned this, maybe it's strategic, and look, why are we getting paid tax? Why are we getting charged tax for all the non-profits, small bodies, maybe someone's been misleading us, why are we, getting all these decisions in council, when, we're meant to be deciding, this is it. It's because they're all owned by these companies. They own them, they bought them all. So, who's behind it? You've got to follow the ownership chains, and this is the thing that we're on with now, with all these independent channels and stations, people like, Jimmy Dore and on, Russell Brand and on Tucker Carlson, well, especially on Tucker Carlson now, because he's just had that Benz guy on Mike Benz. Like Mike Benz, I mean, that's got to probably be the best. All through all this, there's been the best program, but that Mike Benz program just blew it. I mean, that Mike Benz program, I thought the Anonymous one was decent, still the best, with the Spanish AI guy, deepfake guy, with all the ownership of the companies. But that Mike Benz one just was like, poof, that's just kind of like, I don't know how I'm not sure what the politicians know what to do, because by acknowledging that something like this can exist and they never prevented it, there's no real department in the police that actually even have acknowledged it, really, because they can't find Madeleine McCann. you know, and the fact that, you know, Mike Benz is like, well, there's a special part of the government that's specially designed to take down other governments in foreign countries, and that's who's behind it. We can't go there, can we? Because ultimately our politicians are responsible because they should know about it, should have known about it, and likely do. So they're still trying to pretend to be like, almost like Blue Peter presenters in a way, or in play, you know, almost like some kind of children's television. It's getting a bit, this Rishi Sunak stuff now, you know, joining on the board and all these ministers. It's starting to feel a little bit like children's television. And then you'll get them having, you know, Merlin Sheldrake or whatever into Parliament giving evidence on very important matters with intellectual capacity and, you know, fungi, scientific stuff. Everything's normal, everything's okay, you know, he's an intellectual man, he's very normal, everything's okay. It's a little bit like Jeremy Vine when he goes out on his, you know, penny farthing, isn't it, you know? It's okay, this is perfectly normal, you know, this is perfectly normal, it's just me, Jeremy Vine, you know? Well, it's not perfectly normal, Jeremy, because no one rides penny farthings anymore, and you're the first person to ever probably ride one down that street because it's a brand new road, or like in the last 20 years. So it's not a normal occurrence, it's not an everyday occurrence. It's quite rare and exceptional. So it's not normal, is it? And then, you know, you're a famous celebrity. We're not all famous, but how you will be when I finished with you, when you've all got your mobile phones held up in front of you, like you know, like this. See. Now it'll be normal when you'll all be like Jeremy Vines. You know, I really don't know where they're going with this. They're trying to keep it, they're trying to make out, you know, everything's normal. But really, having trillions is not normal to normal people. Having billions is not normal. Sunak's not normal, you know. To be honest, you know, no factory owner is normal. None of them. No factory owner in England it's not the norm. There are a lot of them, but compared to, you know, people who don't, it's, you know, still quite extraordinary. Well, it's extra to ordinary. You know, here there's, you know, 100 people in a mill and one mill owner. That's extraordinary. It's extra to, it's surplus to requirements. It's extra to ordinary. You know, it's a very extraordinary man now. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of England, joining a drawing board. Da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da. It's like play school. Everything's okay. Everything's normal. I'm Rishi Sunak and the world's going fine. I'm just going to try and rebalance the economy. I did all that myself. Da-da-da-dun. And there's some proteins here from AlphaFold. They've invented a new protein synthesis. It's very complicated, like fungi, microbiology, and the environment and ecology, like Merlin Sheldrake. But don't worry, because, you know, shh, there aren't any bad people planning these viruses and diseases. They're not trying to kill off the old people, and they don't have a sinister plan to try and prevent us from taking all the money back from them and regaining control in the democratic function of the people. They are not holding us to ransom. You know, they're not holding us to blackmail in order to keep their power and money. No, they wouldn't do anything like that. And my wife's not one of them. No. I'm just your happy, friendly Prime Minister who's here to talk to you about the square goes through the square window and the round goes through the round window, and he's a hexy for polygon schenic protein synthesis deviser, which I cooked up in the lab earlier with Mervyn Sheldrake, and he's going to teach us how to do. And now, here's one I made earlier. Okay, it's Merlin Sheldrake, and here's Gail Bradbrook, and now we're going to get Rishi Sunak out, and we're going to make a 5-hexoxy, 4-fofloxy, permaculture, microbiome. And if you put your gloves on there, Rishi, now we'll show you how to make one. Here we go. Let's get the old Bunsen burner going there. And this is a special little microchip that only is available to be made in one factory in the entire planet Earth. If you just switch that on there, and we'll get the electricity charged up on that, Rishi. And now here's one I made earlier. You know, this is it. We've got some clever people on now, but it's still a children's program. You know, Open University. this is the thing. Now it's time for Columbo. Who did the murder? But don't worry, this isn't real. It could possibly happen in real life. No, we're just acting. But that crash did. That motorway crash did. Look, someone smashed a Jeep up on the motorway and 10 people have just died. Oh, it really happened and now it's on the news. But don't worry, that Columbo program, that could never happen. No. No one would devise proteins and strategically put them in viruses and then, knowing that, all the people in the people zone were going to be taking, tablet C, and then when what happens when you mix that together, don't you, Bart? This is it. I don't know what it is with Calendar and the BBC and, mainstream. I don't know. It must be the ownership. It's got to be the producers, and then the producers are under the directors and the owners, and then the money's coming in from the advertisers. I don't know why they just, it's like, there's a crash happened. 50 people have died. Oh, we can't show them that. We can't tell them about that. They might get upset. No, we want to scare them. There's knives on the street. 10 people got stabbed. But, don't worry, that Columbo film, when someone strategically plans, the virus to protein synthesize in people's veins. No, that can possibly happen. No, but we can't tell them about that. We can't even think of it. We can't even entertain the idea. We can't even propose. We can't even question it. No. But, I'm going to watch it on Columbo later, It's time for a commercial break. This is it. I don't know what's wrong with them. There is something wrong with them. And that is, I think, it's got to be the people who are doing it. You aren't allowed to enter into that area of thought, because then that's where's, it's almost like there's someone stood in the corner of the room in the dark, but don't know, there is no corner of the room. Who stood in the corner of the room in the dark with the lights out? There is no corner. There is no light, so there is no one. Yes, there is. There's something over there. Where's over there? No. There is no over there. Where's there? There, in the corner. There's something happening there. Isn't that a corner over there? Isn't it dark? Have we got a torch? No, we don't need torches. Oh, shine it over that way. No. It can possibly anyone in that corner. There could be anyone possibly, using protein synthesis to blackmail us. He's like, this isn't mainstream television. No, don't stand. Oh no, it's almost like what it's like? I think it's like the whole gay thing. It's kind of like, apparently, you can, if you think about penises, you don't think about penises. No, don't think about other penises. No, I'm not thinking about penises. Why would I want to think about other men's penises? The thought never enters my mind. No, don't think about penises. Don't think. No, I try not to do. No, don't think about people thinking nasty plots, particularly people who have got a hell of a lot of money on the lines, like a few trillions and a lot of control, investments in big companies. There's a lot at stake here. Mankind, years of corporate empire. There's a lot at stake here. Don't think that they, don't think they could be terrorists. Don't think they could be terrorizing us. Don't think they could be causing accidents on the motorway. Don't think they could be, planting chemicals in labs because they're very, very angry and it's their version of Extinction Rebellion on a whole new level. Don't think that, Sergey Brin could be, hacking into the power station next to the Old Bailey and making the fan overheat so it blows up and then everyone has to get evacuated from the Old Bailey. No. The police suspect no one. This just happens to be a complete coincidence. We inspected the equipment. It just overheated, No. There's no motive here. There's no motive. There's no motive. What do you mean there's no motive? We're just looking at possibly hundreds of thousands of magistrates court prosecutions being illegal, officer. Oh, someone might want to, have a little bit of a joke and, have all the lawyers out in the streets. No, there's no motive possible, Well, who set up the illegal road signage then, officer? The illegal road signage that you've been supposed to be enforcing every day. The illegal road signage that you helped survey and plan when you were doing your speed camera vans, everywhere. No, that kind of illegal road signage that's illegal and strategically planned, and you don't want us to start thinking about that because no one could have possibly strategically planned it on purpose. This is it. I think maybe holding up the mobile phone, is like, we know you're out there. We know you're listening. Hold your phones up. We know you can see what we're doing. We know you can hear us. We know you can hear us. We know you can see us. We hold up the phone. We hold the phone up. I am holding the phone. It's almost like some kind of dark crystal or something, isn't it? We know. It's like a seance, We know you are watching. Can you give us a sign? Can you give us a sign? We know you can hear us. We know you can. Can you give us a sign? This is it. It's like, I think it's like a seance.